That's quite a handful in this video, man. Quite a handful. I remember this man, Jonathan Kleck, used to be a big ass page. I don't think this is really his page. Because this guy had way more than this. Let's see if he knows about the upside down thing. Because he would have had something about that female uprising that he used to talk about. I don't even know if he's still on here anymore. It's got to do with like just egg-laying clones that are like a reptile, you know, like Pseudo serpent is just a whole bunch of clones. They can't even clone males, bro. They can only clone females because something different there. I don't know. You know, they literally defined that there were two different type of people at the beginning. One that was mortal and one that was of heaven, I guess you could say. I'm gonna get to the scripture in a second. I just wanna see if he. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Anybody that followed this guy would have known about that before. He thinks it's Jesus Christ doing it, huh? Why would Jesus Christ create confusion though? Like, this dude talks about that all the time, but I don't think this is really him. Like, with all these, like, Jonathan Kleck always said that it was, like, more likely an enemy doing this type of thing, because it would be like, when he showed it, it would be like this person drew this person, they were satanic or whatever. And when you flipped it upside down, it was like a sheep that they, you know, it was like a bad picture, you know, like that they did something to a sheep, you know, all this evil stuff. They'd always do it upside down. I already told you about the eyes, how it sees everything upside down because of the way this illusion is in our head. It's the reason perception can affect things the way it does. It's literally the double slit experiment, where consciousness itself is shaping matter and time and all that kind of stuff, and changing time as they're observing it. But yeah, Kleck used to talk about that, and I'm gonna let you know that's not just animals that, you know, in this video. He's like, man, those black bulls, I'm getting out of here, man. I ain't messing with them bulls, man. They full of testosterone. No, but there's too many of them in general. It doesn't matter what color bull they are, they're bulls, you know. But, yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, it's like the animals, like they, like the more melanin they had, the more darker their mane would be, and the more higher their testosterone would be, the quicker they would heal. Like melanin, they use it in computer chips, it's worth more than gold by like 7-fold. I already explained this in this video, I'm just giving you a summary. I get on this new stuff, it's just funny. But you know, there's other guys that kind of like pseudos, you know, like that's why they, you know, kind of feminine and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of these feminine people are into this kind of stuff. Like a lot of women be doing this stuff like on a higher level too. I think I'm really starting to wonder if that original translation was, you know, when he asked her about like why did she eat from the tree, she was like, was it because, you know, one translation means instead of deceived is the devil made her instead of deceived her. I'm like wondering, man, sometimes, like, cause what is sometimes the biggest downfall, man, I've ever seen? Like so many times, like, I think it's just a deeper meaning, you know, it has all these deep meanings when neglected. But the people before us probably understood better than us. Should I? No, I want to talk. This is not really that kind of. But yeah, like, let me show you the scripture. But first, let me show you that there is a difference, like, They're trying to act like it's not the case. Like this dude's asking this question. It's the first thing that pops up when you ask it. Because we all know all those guys in the world's strongest, they're not natural, bro. Like maybe a few of them at the beginning, at the first few years. And even with them, I'm literally telling you, testosterone is related to melanin. A person could be female and still have higher than like average female testosterone because she has melanin, meaning melanated skin or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's just life essence. You know what I mean? Based on what this thing is saying, it's not just a male thing. It's an energy thing. It's a good thing. They use it in all kinds of ways. Like it's like force fields against EMPs and connects us to God and all kinds of stuff, right? I'm wondering if that's what they're, you know, like it's like this adrenaline thing they're doing, kind of adrenochrome. But I wonder if they're also getting these people melanin when they human traffic them. You know, it's worth a lot. I'm wondering if it's the same thing that they're using to do steroids. Like, you know, like it seems related. You know, I don't know. Not 100% sure. I mean, I'm put that in there as a question mark. Because the guys don't exactly get dark when they do steroids. They usually do paint themselves when they're like competing or some shit, but it's not really happening too much naturally, I don't think. But I do remember most of the strong guys looking like they tanned themselves or something, even if they're white. Like, and the ones that couldn't get a tan, like they would like get like sunburn. I don't know, maybe they just worked out all the time. I don't know. It might be that they were, I don't know. Maybe that's why they started covering themselves with that tan that they put on when they go to do physiques and stuff like that. And you know, those kind of people that take roids, or world's strongest or whatever, I think that's why maybe they tan themselves. You know, using this the spray. Because maybe they're hinting at, you know, melanin being related to higher natural testosterone. I don't know. Sure, so it seems more natural than when these guys take it and they can't throw any punches for a long time. You know, that's why all the good boxers are, you know, colored people. You know, whether it's a black person, a brown person, or a light brown person. Like, we've even had some people, I mean, all kinds of people who've been good fighters, but we know who typically is the better like fighter before people started knowing what they were doing. You know what I mean? And, you know, they try and keep these guys uneducated on how much they could really be doing. Like Mike Tyson just so happened to have a guy that believed in him. But we all know Mike Tyson is not the biggest guy on the block. He knew how to fight. I can tell by the way he watching him. Because I know good fighting style. Like, he was like Floyd Mayweather, but he hit hard. And when him and Holyfield came against each other, that shit was like, that was juggernauts going at it. People don't even understand. Like, and they had already done Mike Tyson dirty and put him in jail. I'm not sure if he really did that shit, but there's a lot of people that have had that happen to them. That are, you know, color. It could be just a really high testosterone, and they're doing it because of that, or they were setups. I know a lot of them were setups. So. Like Bill Cosby, that had to have been a setup. Like, he was just about to buy CBS, man. And anyways, on that story, like, yes, you know, they're asking this, and then, do you have any evidence? You see, that's what they ask, because they're strong. Oh, and then they trying to show this. So. I want to see this first one. I remember this one guy. Yeah, he's trying to talk about them being effeminate when he was a crime officer. You know, that's because you keep predominantly 90-something% ratio of these guys in there. You know, I'm just gonna let him talk. You already.
I like the misery.
All right. It's because that's most of the people are in there, and they know they ain't never getting out of there because of the way the system is. And when they get out, they ain't got nothing out there for them anyway. And I already told you. That's all. I already told you that. I'll tell the truth, man. Doesn't matter who it is, whatever, you know. Like, Cain did incest with his mother, so they have recessive female genes. So that's why they call it the motherland. That's why the women are very feminine, very, very feminine. Like even though the loss of complexion would cause a person to be, yeah, that's really just affecting the masculine. It would make them more feminine because it's reducing that though. It would make the more feminine stuff more exaggerated by losing the testosterone. Even in these more feminized races or whatever that are less testosterone, they they don't look any more feminine than like an African woman. Like, unless she's one of those that did a lot of the other kind of incest that was going on there as well in the beginning, like where it would be a male that's the recessive gene because they were the older person that was attracted to the overly feminized looking daughter. The fucking angels of heaven fell for these women. Like, and you know, chose to mess with them. They were the original people. They was doing their thing. That's why they're ancient. Their civilization's so big, and they had giant people and all kinds of stuff. And if you look at Egypt, they clearly depict these giant people of different sizes and stuff. And there's a lot of other stuff going on with that, like aquifers that are around that they could have used that to build it as well. Just floating and stuff. You know, buoyancy, density, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's why some of them are a little feminine or whatever. Yeah, he's right about that. But they do have higher testosterone because they got some exaggerated original human genome in them both ways. So they're really masculine when they're males, and they can be quite feminine as well when you look at the women. I love women from the motherland. They're beautiful women, man. They can look like anything too. They can look like anything. People be acting like, you know, it's just one type of person there. Anyways, I'm gonna give this guy his evidence. I'm gonna post it on there in a second. It's the whole concept. You see, black women have more testosterone than non-black women. Black men have 3% more testosterone than well, okay, on this one they're saying white men. This one shows actually 15% higher than 13%. These are studies, see? It's just like with the animals, man. We're no different. Like, we're conscious. We're more intelligent. We have, you know, we're the image of God Himself. But these animals are like, you know, our support system in various ways because they keep the world in a natural balance, and they teach us things and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much that, I guess. Yeah, this testosterone difference. I proved it over and over again. The animals with humanity. I'll show you that they keep trying to cover this up because it's not very easy to find if you look up testosterone and melanin. Like, to see if that's basically the same thing I'm about to say. I wonder what that molecular compound looks like. I wonder if it looks like milk. Let's see what the compound looks like. Hold on. Because I got the steroid compound look right there. Damn, that looks pretty similar, actually. It really does. Holy shit. Oh, that's not too soon. They're about as long, but this one's missing something. The steroid is missing something. But this other one has more, it's like more of a honeycomb shape than another honeycomb. This one's like just branching. It looks like amino acids almost. I wonder if these pictures are accurate. Looks pretty similar though. Oh, can't say they're the same though. Pretty fucking similar though. It really is just that simple. Like you go at the shape. Yeah, it's like instead of branching this way, this one goes like on the back to the front. Yeah, it's so interesting looking at these, man. I'm gonna have to do some more studying on this. I guess I can't say it's the same as steroids, but might as well be. I mean, the guy even said it was basically what is it? That shit is fucking like I love this video right here. This is one of my favorites.
The untold truth about melanin. Melanin is more than just a skin pigment. Not only is it all throughout your skin, but it's in your hair, your eyes, and throughout your entire nervous system.
And your organs.
Melanin has a value greater than gold at $450 per gram, while gold is only $60 per gram. Melanin is literally so powerful, they're attempting to use it in military-grade weapons. We understand melanin to be a super semiconductor of consciousness that connects you back to the source. We understand melanin scientifically to be biochemical sunlight, living light.
Melanin is literally biochemical light, bro. Like, they ain't steroids, I don't know what it is. They could literally take black people if they were like, if we were on a globe, right? You know how they want to do all that long distance travel? They could do that with black people and they would probably like be the best candidates for it, because they got so much light already in them. They could travel like the distance, you know what I mean, for longer without degrading and stuff. Because it's really just sunlight, as you can tell. He literally just told you that. Like, I could look that up. I mean, everything he said so far has been like stuff I already knew. Like, you can, like, I could type in using any computer chips right now, and the gold thing too. See if it's more than gold. Oh, what's this? Pops up. Eight times, my bad. I was wrong. It wasn't 7 times more than gold. It's 8 times more than gold. Yeah. God knows what he's talking about. It's just y'all. Yeah, just don't give people credit where it's due, man. But, you know, it's just how it is. I think that's gonna change, though. Because, it's inevitable. The truth speaks for itself, you know what I mean? I want to look at that video to see why he talks about that, because I don't know if that's really him doing that, but this is Apollyon rising. What's Apollyon? Babylon. I'm about to expose Babylon, bro. Like, these dudes are Luciferians, man. That's what they really are. They're Babylonians. And Babylonia has nothing to do with Sumeria. It's a cult that popped up that worships reptilians. Instead of like, let me show you what the original, real, like, it's just like in the Bible. Like how the Bible says the angels look. Like these 4 wings and stuff, yeah, like that. And then they interconnect to each other with those 2 wings, but it's a lot more to it. But there's these reptilian things that came later. It's a lot. Because that's really just based around like the Big Bang in the Bible, basically. From the beginning, the spaceless timeless, the abyss, what you're seeing right there, was the Most High Spirit. And that's what they call Anu or whatnot. And then he created everything. He was like the light, the male of this combination, this power, this light. That's literally what the sun is. It's just light. And melanin, which is masculine, typically. It's really just life. That different vibrations and all that kind of stuff. It's in everything. It's in all living creatures and everything. It's just the blue light we see in the air, it's orgone energy. That's what powers everything. I haven't got footage showing some of this stuff happening on the Setchi camera, because it's like the Mandela, it was like the Mandela effect. I like did that kind of thing, but it was also had to do with perception. Like when I finally looked at this shit, it changed things. But I think it really had to do with when I actually understood what I was looking at too. Like if you don't understand what you're looking at, it's like different. You have to actually understand it. And then there were certain things I really do not remember being there. For example, the way Venus changed, like it did it all the way back to the beginning of the camera. That's why I kept watching all the way back to the beginning of the camera, and I saw these crazy events. But yeah, it's just the war between the original God, and then there's Air, just like I was telling you, Goku's name was Air. That was like his prime secondary son. And then they try and turn them all against each other like they've been doing. These little fantasies that they come up with. It's bullshit. Like, Earth is one. Then not just the sky, but then there's the air, which is like the sun of the sky. And then there's the earth. And then there's the abyss. This all just aligns up with the Bible. Like, the amount of days it took is everything about it. Like, even to the primordial comet planet that they call Trine Fable. Like, I forget what they call it. But it's really just the abyss itself. And then that light starting it. But, like, they try and call it Nibiru or Planet X. There's evidence of that in there. Like, when it crossed that cross section, the cross, it made the whole thing start rotating on its side. It was crazy, bro.
Isaiah 3. For behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water, the mighty man and the man of war, the judge, and the prophet, and the prudent, and the ancient, the captain of 50, and the honorable man, and the counselor, and the cunning artificer, and the eloquent orator. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand. In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, for in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. For Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. The show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Say ye to the righteous, that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. The Lord standeth up to plead, and standeth to judge the people. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people, and the princes thereof. For ye have eaten up the vineyard, the spoil of the poor is in your houses. What mean ye that ye beat my people to pieces, and grind the faces of the poor, saith the Lord God of hosts? Moreover the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks, and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tingling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. In that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their cowls, and their round tires like the moon. The chain.
In case you didn't get it, this is God's judgment against the harlot. This is the female uprising. Like it's echoed through time. This is saying that people that don't know their history are destined to repeat it. You know, that kind of thing. And that's what's going on with this. And it says that your oppressors are children. And yeah, right here. And the women are the ruler. It's literally funny because there was some evidence that the president is really Kamala instead of Biden's little retarded ass. But yeah, that's just how it is. That's what it's got to do with these little feminized pseudo males that are really like little kids, that are children, that are like beta males. That it's a word. Can't even think of it anymore. Oh, simp. Yeah, that simp word. Yeah. Like simps and stuff like that. It's just little kids, man. They ain't growing to be no man. They have no backbone to stand for something in their life, you know. And that's basically what it's got to do with. It's a type of mentality. That's what they mean. It's just, this is supposed to be something going on. This judgment from God on just the wicked. And they decided to give it to the people of God as well, as for his people. See, at the beginning it was just on them other guys, and they lead them to error because they destroy the path of their ways. They literally make it impossible and shit. Like they just constantly setting you up and bullshitting, you know. Just like Sodom. Remember how I brought up Sodom? It's just the same thing going on right now, bro. That's why this speaks like that. This is ringing true, and this has all got to do with your oppressors, these little pseudo males that conspired in this feminist movement, far left, far right, political bullshit control system. Who needs control? You know, do people in Africa really like be caring, like, except for because, you know, Africa does have a lot of that in them too, you know, they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go like Ethiopia or whatever, or the pre-Roman Catholic Church, where they created Islam to try and divide the people up, then cut them off from their own damn people, get them in all this extremism shit, like far left, far right bullcrap, Shia, Sunni division, like, and Al Qaeda funding that, and so on and so forth. But you know, it's just clear. It's just clearly Babylon, man. That's all I can say about it. I'm gonna let this continue talking about these little pseudo males, man. These little kids.
Chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bond. Isaiah 3. For behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water, the mighty man, and the man of war, the judge, and the prophet, and the prudent, and the ancient, the captain of 50, and the honorable man, and the counselor, and the cunning artificer, and the eloquent orator. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them, and the people shall be oppressed, every one.
Ask yourself, how the fuck are you gonna be oppressed by little kids unless it's some pseudo myth? That's a literal person. That's why they say there's two different levels to the scripture. There's the ones for people that are that little child level, that is fleshy level, like it's a base level, and then there's stuff that's more deeper, you know? It's not little kid stuff, you know what I mean? Women are like just kind of like little kids, but probably a little more crafty and experienced.
One by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand.
Funny thing is, he's kind of like confirmed what the one guy said, like Jesus like put a snare on us. Or put us upside down, you know, like the woman's like the head of the household down, the colored communities and shit like that. The way they co-opted them during the civil rights movement and shit made them like do their man dirty for child support and shit. You know, it is what it is. It's spread to all everybody dealing with that bullshit. But it's just funny to me.
In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, for in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. For Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. The show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They hide it not.
You see, they declare their sin as what? Sodom. They hide it not. Woe unto their sin.
Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves.
Yep.
Say ye to the righteous, that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Woe.
You see us through time. This is literally Jesus' judgment through time. And it's like, what did they do? They betrayed Jesus, right? And it's like, well, like people don't know about that part. It's one of the gospels, but they don't never bring it up in church. Where he's like, well, don't worry, don't cry for me. Even though he's about to get crucified. He was like, cry for yourselves, because y'all about to get fed to lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Y'all did it to yourselves.
Woe unto the wicked. It shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. The Lord standeth up to plead, and standeth to judge the people. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people, and the princes thereof. For ye have eaten up the vineyard, the spoil of the poor is in your houses. What mean ye that ye beat my people to pieces, and grind the faces of the poor, saith the Lord God of hosts? Moreover the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks, and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tingling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts.
See? And what did I do? Showed all this deepness to their odd little, what they call femininity, which is the mortal. I've already explained it. I don't want to sound too horrible, but like, yeah, it's basically mortal man. Yeah, God said he found 1 out of 1,000 men righteous, justice, That's what righteousness means, like the son of righteousness. And 0 out of all women. And then there's this one hidden scripture that talked about them turning women into a man spiritually. You know, she's physically a woman, but like she would become like spiritually conscious, like to a man's level, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's all it's talking about. The same thing has happened in nature and all that kind of stuff. It's funny. It's just too funny. And that's why these guys worship that kind of thing, because that's like their salvation, they think. But they don't understand they have to do the trials and tribulations that a man has to do to climb all the way through being a pseudo male, essentially, to ascended male, or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? So they get cocky and shit. And, you know, it's funny how this situation, literally the only people that aren't going through any trouble in this situation, it seems like the harlot. It looks like he's talking about the harlot again here, because he talks about the harlot in Revelation. We all know that. Now, let me talk about this guy they think is an angel. He's just a man. This guy called Lucifer that they worship. It's just a man. It's Babylonian trash.
Whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them, and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
You see? Now he's reversing everything in this one. Like, hold on, is this literally... I just realized it's the same book. I didn't even realize that whole time, bro. I had a feeling based on what it was talking about. Wow. That's true in the motherfucker. So this is literally talking about God countering y'all, you know, this curse he has y'all. Literally, they had you under women, bro. They were pseudo, man. Man, don't colony of them, man. Like, they're just trying to act like they're normal when they can't. They got so many birth defects. It's not even funny compared to people that are, like, you know, got some sort of melanin in them. You gotta have some of it. I mean, goddamn. But yeah.
And they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall, Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them, and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
So, what do you think? God's talking about taking some little kids and making them your slaves? No. He's talking about these pseudo males that are literally, I'm just gonna put it out there because he said expose them. He's gonna expose them to the utmost. I might as well do it too. And it happened on my chapter 14, 7 plus 7, like, you know, like usual. But anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, pseudo male thing. Yeah. It's got to do with I don't know. It's like female uprising. Everything I've already been talking about. It's nothing too crazy. I think, you know, it's another factor that you should remember, that it's possible that it was a creation of Satan himself. I ain't gonna lie. Like, maybe it's just literally the lower potential. Like, that's literally all it is. It's like, other than divine, you know, it's not like the worst thing in the world, you know, it's just typically leads to the mark of Cain and all that kind of stuff. Like, fucks up with their genetics. There's a lot to it, man. I'm just gonna let the scriptures talk to it.
And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, these guys are literally like a hybrid. I forgot the serpent seed. You know, Draco how it wants to be above the sun and all that stuff, and all the stars of God and all that stuff. But then there's that constellation called Cepheus. Like I told y'all a long time ago, this constellation tells the story of God. He named them all, and all that tells the story. And it just confirms everything I've been talking about. It's just so funny. But so many, you know, they fell more likely Draco first. That's why it's so prominent or whatever. And the other ones afterwards, like, probably fall on this exact path or some shit. Like, that's why they kind of orbit around it or something. Who knows? Could have even been that giant comet. You never know. Could be symbolic of that. Like, you never know. But either way, it more likely mixed with Eve, man. I already explained this in other ones, like how in this other version, he's just like, the kids are just magically there. They didn't do anything, and one doesn't have any semblance of the father. That's all I can say. And, you know, this hating, this killing the other kid all of a sudden, that looks like a mix of the two, as far as like what the book is explaining. And it just explains exactly what the Bible said would happen. The seed of the serpent would hate on the human serpent, and not the humans. Call it a human serpent. I mean, at this point, everybody's probably got it in them. I mean, I guess that's a subliminal thing. But yeah, you know, it just has to do with melanin, I think, for at the end of the day.
That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, How hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest, and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, Since thou art laid down, no fellow is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights.
How the hell are the sides of the fucking north where the stars will be located, which we all know happens because there's a dome right there. Unless there's a dome right there called the firmament. That's why there's like this. Told you the stars are showing a mirror of the earth. Like, it's like an upside down Christmas tree. Like the earth, and we're on the like sort of flat part. And I'm guessing at the edges it kind of like pokes up in a certain place or whatever. I couldn't see the stars when I saw this in the near-death experience, but I noticed that the stars, when I was looking at it from Earth, showed this kind of look where it's a Christmas tree coming down. And Draco's got a lot to do with the, you know, a lot of that. 1/3 of it, I guess you could say. There's a lot of stars, though.
Of the clouds, I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see,
you see the mirror opposite. Like I told you, that would be like down there in the abyss. So it was just all black because I was so far away I couldn't even see the stars reflecting on the firmament. And yeah, proves it right there. It would be the opposite side down there. Maybe that's the place they like to store the fallen angels, isn't it? Like under the earth, and that's where a lot of these cryptid, like Yeti, Sasquatch, Dogman type of things are spotted. Vampire type things, like it's UFOs as well. It's around these caves and stuff, and they keep people away from these caves using national parks and stuff. That's where all the disappearances happen.
See thee, shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land, and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord. I will also make it a possession for the bittern, and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts. The Lord of hosts hath sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand. That I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him under foot. That
You see, what is it? When did this happen? When they started to become Babylon, Assyria. Before that, they were worshiping the basic Sumerian gods, which is the world itself around us. Like there's angels and all kinds of crazy shit though. But it's mostly just the primordial space, spaceless timeless, and it's superluminal. And all this came from, and then the light that started all this, and then the sky. I'm starting to think that heaven itself is that, that division, that light. I mean, it makes the only thing that makes sense to me. It's just like the Bible, bro. It's like the air, like the breath of life, the earth. I mean, everything about it. Like,
then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from
and man and animal. That's why he didn't have us eating animals at the beginning.
Off their shoulders. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. For the Lord of hosts hath purposed, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? In the year that King Ahaz died, was this burden. Rejoice not thou, whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, and his fruit shall be a fiery flying serpent. And the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. And I will kill thy root with famine, and he shall slay thy remnant. Howl, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina art dissolved. For there shall come from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone in his appointed times. What shall one then answer the messengers of the nation? That the Lord hath founded Zion, and the poor of his people shall trust in it.
They shouldn't get it. That's literally what's going on with Earth right now. Like they're oppressing the people of all colors. It doesn't really matter what color they are. They're being oppressed. And it's literally showing you like it's just these little pseudo people that are mostly behind it. That's really all it is. They're very color. He said they did it to themselves. And that's back when Israel started this shit. Like I remember in this one dream, I saw that there was this guy who was supposed to be like a holy man, but he basically turned into a snake. It didn't take much to do it either. Like
I say in 3. For behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water, the mighty man and the man of war, the judge, and the prophet, and the prudent, and the ancient, the captain of 50, and the honorable man, and the counselor, and the cunning artificer, and the eloquent orator. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against...
You see? Against the ancient, like, you know, people that are way older than them, you know, like, people-wise. A babe. Little kid.
Against the honorable. When a man...
That's why they...
4.
That's why they call each
Isaiah
other,
3.
they call their, little kids and their women babes. It's actually got to do with Babylon fall. Like, it's got to do with the Seder. I'm pretty sure it's in this. I'll just look it up by the word. There it is. I missed it somehow. But the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there. This is after the pile of trash, Babylon falls apart, and be full of doleful creatures and owls. There's really a Lilith. That's what they call that thing. Which is like the original, like, monster demon thing. And I'm pretty sure that's like Satan itself. Because they're all like her children, basically, like, and that's in a lot of mythologies that it all came from this OP-ass monster chick that, like, totally disobeyed God like shit at the beginning. Anyways, wild beasts of the desert, the satyr shall cry, the screech owl. The screech owl is the Lilith. It's supposed to be a proper translation, but that's bullshit. The satyrs are these goat demons. It's just fairies and shit, like what they call changelings. The original shapeshifters, like people used to be smart enough not to let them infiltrate, but simps are probably likely how they got in. Simps and desperate women. Anyways, that's that. Babylon is gonna fall, you know, that's exactly what this is witness against. You know, it's Sodom and Egypt. It's the Son of Man and the Holy Spirit, you know, Jesus Christ, you know. It's the same place Jesus was crucified. Was he crucified in Sodom? Technically, yeah. It's technically true. But he's also gonna be there with me as well. Like, I mean, it's not Sodom that time. I mean, not compared to this time. Like, DC literally allows gay marriage and stuff like that. Israel didn't do that. Like, it's like literally passing the laws, and then it literally sits on 7 hills as the harlot at the same time. China's involved as well, but like, it's really obvious if you pay attention to the clues that the Sodom and Egypt, they oppressed the poor, you know, they got a lot of, used to be Chocolate City, now it's Gentrification City. And it might as well be the Roman capital of the world at this point, like I mean, it used to be Chocolate City, ain't no more, I'll tell you that. The way these idiots label everybody, they gonna throw these Romans in with us apparently, and yeah, then we're actually like 90% of the people here. Then yeah, because they took over. That's all I'm gonna say. they bust them in like to our areas. Like I ain't got nothing against it. It's just like it used to be. Someone would go to white neighborhoods too. Why not? Like why not? You know, let them gentrify their neighborhoods too. And then they try and play us off against each other. When I mixed with all that shit, like it went well in New York, not so well in California because they literally created some gangs to try and cause all kinds of stuff, and then there was a lot of hostile takeover, like, because of the way, like, it was scarce. Things were scarce in the hood, so you put these people in an already scarce situation instead of spreading the wealth. Like gentrification was inevitable, and people realized they could get rich off that, and that's why we got this housing problem we got right now. I wish people would just go off, reality instead of. But anyways, Babylon's finished, man. Like it's clearly just Sodom and Egypt. It's Rome too, though. You already know it always goes back to Rome. Synagogue of Satan. A spider is hanging on a really interesting thread. I thought it was coming from above, but it was like from this other angle. Alright, that's yeah, like this, the female uprising and all that stuff. I mean, I think it's pretty much just God talking about these Seder type things, like things that were really like monsters. Like I remember Cain. I wouldn't be surprised if she became like some kind of a like hermaphrodite when she did what she did, and literally impregnated Eve, and then that's how they got Cain. Dude, that'd be funny as shit, but that'd be too funny, bro. Oh my god. That would explain why the moon. I mean, the moon affects us all, but like women more, because like werewolves turn into the werewolf in the full moon and stuff. It's a lot more to it, but I don't want to make this too long. Yeah, they had these people in slavery, and these guys are literally mixed with animals, and that's why they believe that we're part monkey, but we're not. They're probably part that. Those things are like the Watchers, and they have been known to take people and do things. And think about some of these more powerful ones like the werewolves, and then there's bird ones too, and it's the Yeti itself. Any of these could have been the Watchers. That's what they usually do to people before they abduct them and use them as a play toy. Like, oh, you think this is like something only primitive animals would do? Like literally a dolphin, which is probably smarter than most people, will go take a eel and use it as a plaything on his thing, or decapitate a fish and use it as a plaything. Yeah, like let's say animal, but sophisticatedly intelligent enough to come up with a perverted situation like that will do. Like, and then you got people. That's why God says you gotta have morality with your sexuality, because this animal, highly intelligent animal type bullshit is mixed in with people, and it's like it doesn't care. It saw women that is so attracted that it jumped that boundary, just like the Yeti probably did with them, just like this bird thing apparently did. It's a fish thing, because I've heard about mermaids. I've seen footage of them. There's yeah, that's how they cheapskated their asses into heaven. Some of them, but some of them are not gonna make the cut, and then all these crazy constellations started popping up. That's all this stuff. But it's probably just already gonna happen. It's just how it is. Every single one of these things have intelligence and testosterone. So it's like you can see some of these cryptids. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if gray aliens is another type of cryptid that we don't even know about. That's just a high version. It seems to be more like a machine, though. But anyways, enough of that. But yeah, these things want to like act like they're the top of the food chain, but in reality, humanity it's just it wants to continue having this little time with the harlot, that they basically sold out humanity to these monsters. You know, it's basically like Eve still having her fun with Lilith. Yeah, Lilith and Eve are having their hermaphrodite, and you know they want to take our woman, you know, like, and then have us as just slaves. That's the way they wanted to set it up. As you can tell, like males, they just want to turn us into slaves, bro. Okay? Women are more interested in each other than us, and then some of them ain't really women. And some of them are like these, just like some men ain't really men. Those are the bad men that they love, man. It's just like, I'm telling you can tell it by the accent. Like, as soon as they start talking a certain way, you might as well just be like, forget about it. She likes those kind of guys. But if she talks proper, you know, seems presentable and, you know, that kind of stuff, like, yeah, she doesn't have to talk like a white person. That, to me, that's actually a flag, a red flag. If somebody talk that proper, man, they got no waviness to them, you know. But they talking like Shaliqua, you best believe she probably got it for the streets, you know. Anyway, enough about this, man. Like, this turned into a MGTOW video. I mean, she's the mother of monsters, bro. Like, everybody knows that shit. That's why they took that book out of there and put that in the bottom of Rome as well. Like, alright, peace. Y'all don't have to believe me, it's fine. Keep worshiping the image of the beast. That mixed with your ass, and it was literally the most intelligent one of the damn beasts too, so figure that out, why they can come up with technology so fucking fast, especially with that 2000, God knows how many year head start when they fell into Cain's people. Like, they already had the angelic technology and understanding, like, huge head start.